Violet and Xaden giving that one couple in line at the amusement park that won't get off of each other. I will simply place ancient curses upon their entire bloodline. Hi guys, welcome back to another video. This is going to be a sit-down video, which I have not done in a pretty long time, but I was looking for some more video ideas. Like I wanted to do more sit-down videos in addition to the vlogs. And I found this video that a lot of book girlies and book guys have done, and it's reading 1-star reviews of my favorite books. Now, I think that this is such a fun idea because at the end of the day, I will never judge someone for not liking a book that I personally love and vice versa. But everyone has their different opinions, and it's actually crazy to me how like I could rate a book 5 stars and think it's the best book ever, and then someone who is even a friend to me and who, you know, we may have similar book tastes, they absolutely hate the book. So we're going to be reading some 1-star reviews of my top 3 favorite books. I actually picked one book from each like main genre. So I have romance, I have fantasy, and I have thriller. So we're going to be going through, I'm going to be using Goodreads to go through these. I just feel like that's the best way to do it. I don't know if you can write, or I guess you could write like book reviews on Google. I don't know, but we're going to be using Goodreads. So we're going to be starting with romance. I feel like that's the most popular. So we're going to be starting with Just for the Summer by Abby Jimenez. I absolutely loved this book. I ate it up. I read it so fast, and it's my all-time favorite book by Abby Jimenez. It's that and then probably yours truly, but Just for the Summer takes the top spot. Like it's so good. So we're going to be going through, I'll probably read like 5 reviews for each book, and we'll kind of like talk about it on like if I agree or don't agree, which I probably won't agree on most of these, but yeah. So let's start with the first one. So this first one literally just says everybody needed therapy. Honestly, valid, because this book, everyone did have a little bit, like they had their issues, okay? The main girl, if you haven't read the book, this is about a girl who basically is like having issues with her mom. Her mom left, and she kind of grew up with her best friend, and that's all she's really had in life. And her and her best friend end up taking this like, I guess, internship at this hospital because they're both nurses. And so they moved to this new state. I think it's a new state, not just a new city, but they end up meeting this guy, and that guy also has issues. And you know, I think that this one's kind of correct. Okay, I don't think that they needed therapy part should give it 1 stars, but that one's kind of valid. Okay, the next one says Just for the Summer is exactly what I'd imagine you'd get if you took all the worst parts of early 2010s Tumblr/Wattpad and ran them through a random TikTok buzzwords generator. The book reads like it was written in hopes that it became a movie. This is not a compliment. I don't really remember thinking that it was anything like, I was a big Wattpad person growing up. I really was. I read all of the after books before they were published, like real books, like when it was all One Direction coded. I read all of those on Wattpad and so many other books on there. But I never got that feeling with this book. I loved this book so much. I guess that maybe you could take like that how everybody needs therapy part and thinks that could go into like a crazy Wattpad story. I'm not sure, but I think this book would be really cute as a movie. The next one says Jimenez writes with the style of a Wattpad fanfic circa 2014, choked full of toxic positivity and cringy phrases such as "he beamed at me" and "she sucked air through her teeth." I will agree that some authors, the stuff like the dialogue that they write, like the "she sucked air through her teeth," like okay, but aren't you already doing that kind of? Like I guess I get what they're saying, okay? Circling back to the last review, I don't think that this was like a Wattpad fanfic from 2014, but I do agree that sometimes, especially with like cheesy romance books, the dialogue such as like "he beamed at me" and "she sucked air through her teeth," I think that those can get a little carried away, but like I said, I don't remember that really happening in this book. But overall, that could be a valid comment. Okay, this next one is long. I'm not gonna read the whole thing. You can pause it and read it. I'm just gonna kind of like skim over it or read the first part. So it says, how can a book have summer in the title and then spend the whole time at the hospital, Mall of America, and hanging out with children? Not the Mall of America. They literally were there like 1 time in that book. It says, boring, lame, and corny. I'm so sorry I went into this with high expectations because everyone is loving it, but I had a horrible time. Main girl's whole personality being based around her relationship with her mother felt like a lazy way of getting her character to develop. All their dates being interrupted by children. They should have been at the club or at the lake. I do think that maybe the title was a bit misleading now that I'm thinking about it and reading this review. Like, Just for the Summer, you would think it would be like all about being at the lake and hanging out with this new summer lover of yours, and like although it kind of was that, it did still circle back to like the family trauma that each character had. So I get that. I do get how the title could be a little bit misleading, but don't agree with everything else. Okay, last one for this book. It says, in my opinion, this book is marketed so wrongly. The cover and blip make it sound like this is a fun rom-com, but it is indeed more of a trauma dump book about family and mental health issues, with the romance between the two protagonists serving as a backdrop. If that's how it was marketed to readers, that would be one thing, but instead you expect a love story and end up reading about really triggering family dynamics and human tragedies. Please stop lying to readers and promote these books in a responsible way as what they are, and don't make them seem like lighthearted rom-coms. Kind of going back to the last review again, maybe it could have been marketed just a little bit better. I don't remember if there were trigger warnings in the beginning of this book. I feel like there had to be, because there was some dark talk about things, but yeah, I don't know. I do get the whole, maybe the title was a little bit misleading, but overall, absolutely loves the book and don't agree with the majority of the stuff said in those comments. Okay, we're gonna move on to fantasy. I have like 20 million fantasy books that I love, so I genuinely did not know what to pick. We're gonna go with Onyx Storm because I feel like that was a really, really, really more recent book that came out. I don't know, I feel like this could be fun. So the very top comment under Onyx Storm is sending hate from Ohio with a pink heart. Why? You at least gotta talk about like what you didn't like in the book. Like what made you say that, you know? This one says Violet and Xaden giving that one couple in line at the amusement park that won't get off of each other. The fact that I grew up about 20 minutes away from a Six Flags, and I had season passes from the time that I was like 11 through the time that I was like 18. So me and my best friends would go to Six Flags literally like 2 times a week during the summer. And I know exactly what this is like because people really did do that. You'd get those weird people that were like so clingy in line and like practically making out. I want to say I don't agree about Violet and Xaden, but sometimes they were like that. And then sometimes they were okay. But definitely may give a little bit of those vibes. The next one says, I will no longer write in-depth reviews for god-awful books written by god-awful people. I'm not going to talk about like the author specifically on here. Yes, some authors may have their issues, but that's not what this particular video is about. It says, I will simply place ancient curses upon their entire bloodlines. They'll be cursed in their city and cursed in their country. Their basket and their kneading trough, I don't even know how to say that word. Am I dumb? Will be cursed. The fruit of their womb will be cursed. Okay, this is just going off about, this person really hated this book and they really hate Rebecca Yarros. The next one is my Hoover. Is that a vacuum? It says my Hoover has more chemistry with fallen hairs behind the couch than Violet and Xaden. I'm just gonna pretend I never read it. Please play along. That is funny. That's really funny, but I don't agree. I think Violet and Xaden have really, really, really good chemistry. I love them as a couple. I will say that in the second book, they were very, very annoying. I'm not a hater of the second book, but I do agree with what everyone was saying about the second one, to where it was super back and forth. They were like just making no sense. I think that in the second book, I would agree with this. Okay, this one says, I need Imogen to use her powers and wipe all of my memories from this shit. Don't agree. I love this book. I don't want my memories to be wiped, but for those who don't know, at the end of the book, I'm not gonna like spoil what it was, but Imogen is one of the girl characters, and something happened at the end of the book to where she wiped Violet's memories, and that was kind of like where the book ended, and it was like a big cliffhanger. So for someone saying I need Imogen to use her powers and wipe all of my memories from this book, that's funny, but I loved the book. I thought it was absolutely amazing. I flew through it, and it, dare I say, maybe my favorite book in the series. Did I read 5? I can't remember if I read 4 or 5. I think I read 5. Okay, let's move on to thriller. Now, this may be controversial because a lot of the book girlies that I follow on Goodreads either rated this book really highly or really, really lowly. Heather McClary, I'm talking about you because I think you rated this book 1 star. I love you, girl. Let me just say that. But I also loved this book, and I don't agree with your review on it. I'm not gonna read her review. I'm gonna read Random People's, but I loved that book. So we're gonna be going over The Last Word by Taylor Adams. Let's see. Awful. It was the never-ending book. Someone's dead. Oh wait, no they aren't. Repeat, repeat, repeat. So at the ends of the book, if you haven't read this book, this is about a girl who is staying at a beach house, like she's renting it from someone, and as she's staying at this beach house, she reads a book, hates it, writes a 1-star review about it online, and this author basically starts like taunting her online at first and saying, you know, like, you need to take this review down. She's like, no, it's free speech, like, I'm gonna write what I think about the book. Well, he ends up like tormenting her at this beach house, and I thought it was the most psychologically thrilling, scary book ever. I do not like the idea of being like hunted and like being looked at through dark windows, and that's all that this book was, and that terrified me. So towards the end, there was a little bit back and forth of like, oh, this person was dead, oh, they're not, oh, yes, they are, no, they're not. I thought it was great. I was getting whiplash, but in a good way. I was like, oh, you know, like back and forth. I loved that. So yeah, 5 stars for me on that type of review. Next one literally just says toilet paper, just says toilet paper. Respectfully disagree. You know, toilet paper alone, is that supposed to be like, I guess it is. No joy found within its pages, none. Fish hook in the dog's mouth and then rat poison, really? Man, be better. I will say this book, there were a few instances where I thought the dog was gonna die, a horrible death, and I was about to start bawling my eyes out. I don't like when animals die in books. Humans dying, do not care. But when it comes to an animal, I want to DNF the book because I cannot read about that. So there were a few times that the dog I thought was gonna die. I don't think that makes for a bad book though. It's like, in my head, like, I don't want to read about that, but I don't think that has anything to do with the author's writing style being bad or like the actual book being bad. So yes, there were instances with a fish hook in the dog's mouth and then the dog ingesting rat poison, but I don't think that had anything to do with how the book actually was. Like, it may make me really sad and I don't want to read about it, but that doesn't make the author's writing style bad. This one says, this book was just so incoherent. Everything happened all at once, yet over and over again. Absolutely unbelievable. If I was supposed to be scared off from bad reviews, here we are. 1 star is even pushing it. No, I don't think so. I really, really don't. Like, I feel like over the course of the book, there were times to where he would come back, you know, each night and kind of the same thing would repeat. But I mean, it was all like new stuff and it kept me on my toes personally. So I don't agree with this one either. I feel like this is the one book to where I'm like actually disagreeing with everything. Yes, I do understand the irony of reading a book about a killer going after reviewers that gives bad grades 1 star, but this book is not a thriller. It has to be satire, right? How would this book be satire? That makes no sense. That's funny that they said, I do understand the irony of reading a book about a killer going after reviewers that gives bad grades 1 star. Yeah, I don't understand how that would be satire. I genuinely thought this was such a psychological, thrilling book. I think I was also home alone that weekend while I read this. And so the fact that she was like in an isolated area with like windows all around her and she was scared that people were watching her, I already don't like, and I feel like most people are like this, but I cannot have windows open at night. Like, I don't want to be watched. So that gave me chills, like actual chills. And then where she thought that he was watching her in her bedroom while she slept gave me absolute chills. Like, absolute, like, I was looking at my arms. I feel like I'm getting goosebumps thinking about it. This book scared the shit out of me. Scared the shit out of me. I think that's all I'm gonna be doing. Let me know if you guys want another one of these videos. I think that the next one I'll do will actually be like a reading 5-star reviews of my least favorite books, because I have my own books, you know, that I've also rated 1 stars, just like all of these reviews for these books. And I kind of want to go through Goodreads and read 5-star reviews of those books. I think that would be really, really fun. So hope that you guys enjoyed this video. Let me know down in the comments if you agreed with any of these ratings or these comments, but be nice, because like I said, everyone has different opinions and that is totally okay. That is the good thing about reading, is that you should be able to respectfully talk to people about your rating. And there's millions of books, guys. It's literally like not even, it's just like what you like, don't like what you don't like, okay? So yeah, I hope that you guys enjoyed this video. Make sure to like if you enjoyed, subscribe if you want to see more from my channel, and yeah, I love you guys so much, and I will see y'all in the next video.